Hello, this is J. Richard Varvel, and today I'm coming to you from my backyard. Um, just something just, something just got me thinking today in the shower, of all places, um, about racism and the many different places that I see it play out. And I feel like oftentimes it gets kind of like put into a box that it's only between black or white people, um, and that would be white people perpetrating it against black people as well as I remember in high school there seemed to be some kind of Hispanic something between the Latinos and Hispanic communities with the black community, and that seemed to be very tumultuous, at least in Bakersfield at Stockdale High School. Um, so, racism and discrimination, and when we look at someone else and think that we're better than them for some reason, um, regardless of whether it's for skin color or any other reason, that we would say that I'm better than someone else. And so I have to say, I have to call bullshit on there ever really being a good reason to do that. I don't believe that, because I don't. Here's where I come from on this topic. I feel like our skin color, as well as our physical bodysuit, and like the layer that's skin out, that's just one dimension of our beauty. That's just one dimension of our the way we're expressing our energy, our God energy in physical form. And so that gets expressed in a lot of different ways. I mean, there's different skin colors, there's different hair colors, there's different genders, there's different eye color. I mean, nose, ears, eyes, it's all could be different. So you get it, you get the picture, hopefully. But none of that should be a reason to think that, oh, I'm better than or less than you. I mean, come on. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, that's just never really computed for me. Like, I've definitely can't say that I've never been in a position where I have felt superior. And I have to say that when that has happened, it feels really ugly and gross, because I just feel like, ooh, like that's just so unfair. Like, even at times when I've been really super fit and I'm working on my fitness, and I'll get into that in another video, but and I would have people find me attractive, and it was just all about my physical appearance, and then all this energy would be coming at me, and I really wouldn't know what to do with it. Like, at that point, as an intuitive empath, I didn't even know what intuitive empath meant or was, and I certainly didn't know that I was one of them. Or at least I knew, but I didn't know what was happening and how I could feel other people's energy and how I could feel into the grossness of certain experiences, and as well as the happiness and joy and the awesomeness of certain experiences. But okay, back to the topic. So also, while I was working at Bank of America as a customer service manager, I oftentimes had to be the problem solver, the troubleshooter, the one that the screaming customers would come to. And there were a couple times that me being gay came up and was tried to be made a way to kind of get at me, to try to get at me and to make me feel less than or small. And that feels really ugly and gross too, to be the one to receive that kind of like attention, and really it's really domination. And what's coming to me now, what I'm really seeing is it's like this really interesting push-pull, and one of the things that we have to learn in those push-pull situations is how to really stand in our truth, stand in our authenticity, and allow ourselves to be fearless in that. And I have to say that that has been what I've been working on, and it has been challenging. I've had a lot of resistance, like sharing myself, or yeah, sharing myself, as well as putting myself out there in this way, and putting a product out there, and there'll be other products, and making these claims of these abilities that I have, and all that good stuff. That's just a lot. And that's sort of been something I've been avoiding and for quite a while. But at the end of the day, just like in the shower, like I've just had enough with this bullshit going on. There's just a lot of nonsense, fuckery, whatever you want to call it, but it's happening on this planet right now. And people are not being very nice to one another. They're treating each other really harshly, and to me, that like it just like those are things that would trigger my anxiety in the past, because I could feel in those kind of situations, or even if I were to watch the news and watch a broadcast that was covering a riot that was because of discrimination, and just feel the volatility of that energy. I mean, in those situations, anything can happen. It really comes down to everyone that's involved in that particular group on where that particular group is going to go, as far as is that group going to be able to stay in peace and be able to come together and use it as an opportunity to share between one another and grow from the experience, even though it may be all the people might be coming because of something super tragic, or is it going to go, volcanoes going to erupt left and right, earthquakes are happening, and riots are happening, fires, you got things breaking everywhere, and then you just have a lot of destruction. And then there's a coming together that happens after, usually, and hopefully within a community, but it all really depends on that particular community, on how fast a city or a town can recover from those kind of events. So my point is that it's a choice. And right now we have the news and the media that I feel like is really trying very hard to incite like a race war, really separate us even more than I feel like we are separated as a mass consciousness, as a country. I mean, the political show going on I feels like a shit show. And that, again, I don't want to get into that because that could be a whole other video. So what I really, bringing it all back and just really coming back to this moment, what I really want to share is I, throughout my life, have had a super diverse group of friends ever since I was in elementary school, growing up in Burbank, and I never knew what it was like not to have that. So for me, that's a blessing. Now that I can look back, and now that I can see that wasn't everyone's situation, but I've always have and still have a diverse group of friends, and I really couldn't see it any other way, because I don't really pick friends based on skin color or what they look like, in the sense of them needing to meet some sort of social standard for them to be my friend. I mean, for me, my friends are my friends because there's an emotional, energetic connection. There's some kind of sharing, co-creation that wants to go on, and there's a camaraderie and a yumminess when we're together. That's why I'm friends with the people that I'm friends with, for reasons that are far deeper than anything that would be skin color or any other reason that we could separate ourselves and want to be different and then say, oh, I'm better now that we're all different. Now I can say I'm better. I mean, what the fuck is that? So anyhow, I've said enough. I've had a lot of cussing in this video, or bad language, or it's whatever. You can think whatever you want about that. I'll put a little warning, so that way, I'm not sure that any kids are really watching this anyways, but if they are, I'll put a little warning not to watch, or at least a warning for the parents to be able to make that decision for their kids. But I don't think there's anything to be afraid of with a bad word. I mean, come on. Like, it could be worse. Anyways, I don't want to get lost on the point. The point is, for me, that I see right now, is to come together, to love one another, to find how we can co-create solutions, how can we create win-win situations, how can we love one another, how can we nurture one another. It's like, it's time to stop tearing each other down and killing one another and hurting one another and dominating one another. I've had enough of that. So I'm for love.